All right, we are recording now. So welcome in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Does anybody have any wins they want to share this week? Tighten the belt loop or the belt buckle or off of medication or weight loss or anything?
I'm down a solid 8 pounds. So
Wow, that's awesome. Lots of weight loss this week. Not everybody's here for weight loss, but
Candy, how long has that taken you?
sorry. I am on day 30. So I'll be getting ready for my next cleanse tomorrow. And actually, I didn't come in for weight loss. I'm a pharmacist. So I came in for liver health and also to help other patients that I see a lot of people on Manjaro and Ozempic. And I'm not a huge proponent of long-term usage of those two different drugs because of the possible long-term effects of pancreatic cancer and possible stomach cancer. So anyway, I did this to lose a little weight, of course, but really more to try to feel better. I was eating things that I thought were healthy, but my body didn't think so. And I will tell you one thing, I'm a borderline diabetic, so I monitor my blood sugar. And I did notice even awesome complex carbs like quinoa, if I eat that at dinner time, my blood sugar skyrockets first thing in the morning. So now I've moved that to lunch and I don't do any complex carbs, only vegetables and meat, unless I'm today's vegetables only. And I've noticed I drop all the way down to 74. So it's pretty amazing. Just one little tweak. So yeah.
And
Anyway,
you do feel better?
oh yeah. Some days are better than others, but and my face is the other thing. So sugar was destroying my face, like breakouts all the time. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I shouldn't be having childhood acne, but apparently just my diet was destroying my face. And it wasn't because of water. I gave up other products a long time ago. I've been drinking water for a long time. So it definitely, my body wasn't very happy. So the stress still brings it out a little bit, but it's clearing slowly but surely. Patience is always what I tell people. It's been a long time. So
Thank you for sharing.
yeah, thank
absolutely.
you for the sharing. And someone was asking me this morning, I think it was, about the Ozempic and if she should get off of it before she starts this program. Candy, what, just real quick, but I don't have too much time, but can you give us any kind of side effects from stuff like that or long-term side effects that you know of? Because I'm curious about that too.
So the long term hasn't been proven yet. It hasn't been on the market long enough, so we don't really know. All I do know is its mechanism of action. The way it works is it stops people from being so hungry, is because it holds the food like longer in your stomach. So basically, it's turning food into almost a time release program. Is kind of how that's not the best way to explain it, but that's not the whole chemistry of it. But that's kind of how it works. That's why people experience nausea, diarrhea, constipation, because they're used to eating these huge meals 2 to 3 times a day. And now they're taking a drug that's basically making the food stay longer in their stomach. It also doesn't cause insulin surges. It makes your insulin more susceptible to the binding sites. So that works better. So that's why people's A1Cs go down. It's better than any product I've seen in the 31 years I've practiced as a pharmacist. It brings A1C down quick. So I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. If somebody has diabetes and high blood sugar, it is a great product to get on. But we also try to nutrition you and then get you off of it. So that's just my personal opinion. They're, like I said, long-term stuff is not out yet on that. They're too new to the market to have long-term studies of if it's going to cause pancreatic cancer, stomach cancer. We already are seeing gastroparesis. So gastroparesis is where it stops the stomach from functioning. But that makes sense because we just turned it into basically a colon. We're holding food in there, which is not what your stomach was ever meant to do. It's meant to move things along and let the small intestine, the duodenum, actually start to break things down and then let your liver handle it. So when people eat these huge gorging meals, it makes sense that they're feeling like they want to throw up and life is not going very well. So I tell them always 6 tiny little meals each day and you won't experience those side effects as much. So I wish I could answer your question fully, but unfortunately, we just don't know yet. But for
Thank you
people that
so
have
much.
diabetes, it is very good. So I'm not against it. For people that are just trying to lose weight, I always tell them diet and exercise is your number one thing, leaning on diet first and then exercise second. I'm not against exercise, but diet is, I would say, 80% of the battle.
I agree. I agree. So you like it for diabetes, but not necessarily at least not long-term for weight loss.
Not long-term and weight loss. I just believe that unless you're a high cardiovascular risk, like you're high stroke or heart attack, and we got to get some weight off, then I think it can be used as long as the doctor is willing to, and the patient's willing to change. I had a guy last night, he goes, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I can't, all I can do is give you the information. If you're just going to keep injecting yourself. Same thing with phentermine. That's a stimulant, and people like to use that for appetite suppressant. I wouldn't suggest that long term. A lot of times they'll show up with a ho-ho in their hand, and then they got the phentermine in the other. Oh yeah. So they're not willing to change. The mindset isn't changing towards a better lifestyle. So once they go off the phentermine, they're gonna gain all the weight back again. It's that bouncing game. You have to look at what you want to be in the future, not what you just think you can be with taking drug.
Wow, thank you. That was great information. Wow, thank you so much. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, guys. So today we're talking about aging gracefully. Basically, the reason I picked this topic and want to present it to you is I do have an ulterior motive. And that is, my goal here is to create different associations with the foods. Like Candy said, like diet is 80% of what we're doing. And if we look at vegetables and go, I don't want to eat my vegetables, and we look at ice cream and pizza and go, oh, I missed that and want that and want that. I just want to create different associations. So that's kind of, I want you to look at this with that kind of intention in mind. So let me go ahead and dive right in. So we got some openings, funnies, shout outs and welcomes. We're going to talk about how to crave the good stuff. Talking about looking younger, better vision, getting healthy from the inside, which will show up on the outside. I have some expert tips for you. And then, of course, as usual, Q&A. So write down any questions if you have them. If you're not shy, you certainly unmute yourself and ask in the middle, because we do still have a fairly small group today. I did hit the record button, right? Yes. Okay, good. All right. So here's your funnies for the day. All right. So while you're enjoying my funnies here, we got Pauline is completely off her migraine medications. She's off decongestants and expectorants. Her inflammation is down, and her joints don't hurt anymore. And she's really, really, really excited about all that. She's been on migraine medications for a really long time. So that's a good news. Chris, her blood pressure has dropped 20 points. Plus, she was, her pulse was in the 80s. Now she's in the low 60s. Nicole said she feels so much better. Congestion is gone, no allergies, and she's down 35 pounds. And she just finished up her 12 weeks. So good on you, Nicole. She hung in there and she leaned in. Lana, she's down 3 pounds in her first week. 3 pounds in her first, so congrats, Lana, to you. Carol, down 12 pounds. Her bowel movements have totally improved already. And then Heather's down 20 pounds in just a month and a half. So that shout outs to all of you guys. I know there's a lot of other people with great results. So congratulations to all of you for showing up for yourselves. Just want to shout some welcomes. We've got Carolyn, Ellen, Tim, Laura, 2 Christinas, one with a K, one with a C, Rhonda, Lisa, Brenna, Monica, Patrice, Dawn, Lynn, Carrie, and Tia. So welcome into the new people. Some of you guys are even on this call today. So let's go ahead and get started. So antioxidants. All right. So let's see. We all know that taking good care of yourself so that we can have good quality of life is important, but like, where do we start? So that's what we're going to be diving into today. So antioxidants, what antioxidants are, they're a substance that inhibits oxidation used to counteract the deterioration of stored food products. Antioxidants combat the free radicals, which are causing the damage within the body. So we're going to talk a lot about antioxidants today. So think about it, and I talked about this, I think it was yesterday. Imagine if you put a pair of tennis shoes in the washing machine and it goes to the spin cycle, but both of the tennis shoes end up on one side of the barrel. And so as it's spinning around, it's banging and banging and banging and banging. That's what free radicals are basically doing in your body. They're spinning around. They've lost an electron. I was going to say lost an electrician. I've had some problems in my house lately, so my brain is going to that. But they've lost an electron, so they're off balance, like the washing machine with the tennis shoes, and they're going around and they're causing damage in the body. And the antioxidant, what it does is it comes along and it gives that extra electron back, so that it's not banging around and causing all that damage in the body. So that's kind of my little analogy, my visual for you, if you will, what an antioxidant is. So we're going to kind of dive into all of that. So here's how we learn to crave the good stuff. So I was going to go through kind of the basic vitamins and why they're important. All right, so we've got vitamin A and some of the benefits vitamin A helps us with. It helps us with skin conditions like acne or wrinkles. Vitamin A is very good for our skin. Vitamin A also is good for our vision. I grew up eating carrots, and my mom always told me every time I ate a carrot, it was going to be good for my eyes because carrots are high in vitamin A. Healthy immune system. Vitamin A, believe it or not, is very, very connected to your immune system. So we want to eat foods that are also high in vitamin A. We think of, or I've, always thought of vitamin C, that's your immune system one, which it is. But vitamin A and vitamin D are also very well connected to the immune system. Vitamin A is one of our antioxidants, which again can fight the aging. And let's see. So foods, vitamin A, high in vitamin A. Carotenoids are also a form of vitamin A and beta carotene and retinoids. So sweet potatoes, yams, and carrots, as you can guess, as you can see, those are all your orange vegetables. So your colors matter. This is why it's so important to get a lot of the different colors of the rainbow on your plate. Each color kind of shows a strength in certain vitamins. Kale, spinach, mustard greens, collard greens, winter squash, like acorn squash and butternut squash. To me, those things are kind of comfort foods, and those are a great substitute for potatoes. And you could even make those sweet if you do an acorn squash with a little bit of cinnamon and maybe some Lakanto syrup. Or you can make them savory with some butter and garlic and salt. And to me, those are just wonderful comfort foods. Romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is really a kind of a superfood that kind of goes under the radar. We don't talk about romaine so much, but when I'm doing my homework and looking into this stuff, romaine was kind of at the top of the list on a lot of the different vitamins. So when you can get a salad and they're offering iceberg lettuce, which has almost nothing, if you have an opportunity to get the romaine, get the romaine. It's going to be hands down far higher in vitamins, antioxidants, and minerals. Bell peppers, all peppers, jalapeno peppers, bell peppers, the red peppers are going to be even higher in vitamin A. Cantaloupe, tomatoes, papaya, leeks, cabbage, grapefruit, and asparagus. So every time we're eating those things, I want you to think of it as like, this is really going to be good for my skin. When we're filling up on all this good stuff, we don't have as much room for some of the bad stuff that actually causes oxidation and causes wrinkles and causes the aging process within the body. All right, so moving on to vitamin B, there's a whole list of different vitamin Bs. We've got thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, folate, folacin, B6, B12, biotin, pantothenic acid, vitamin B work collectively and individually in every cell to perform a lot of jobs, and primarily it's working on your nervous system, really important for your nervous system, and also metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. They can also help regulate appetite, so it's really important. It's needed to convert carbohydrates into glucose in the body, which leads to energy production. If you're low energy, you might be low vitamin B, particularly B12. But B12 is made in the gut, and if your gut isn't healthy, you're not going to be able to absorb it or create it as you should, and might cause fatigue or lethargy. Can also help regulate the nervous system, reducing depression, stress, and brain shrinkage. Again, it's your nervous system. Your brain is part of your nervous system. It also helps maintain a healthy digestive system. B12 also protects against heart disease by curbing and improving unhealthy cholesterol levels, protecting against stroke, high blood pressure. It's essential for healthy skin, hair, and nails. That's particularly your biotin. So you want to make sure you're eating foods high in biotin. Helps cell production and the renewal of skin. B12 also helps protect against breast cancer, colon, lung, and prostate cancers. So what's high in vitamin Bs? We got whole grains, green leafy vegetables, yogurt. Now, yogurt doesn't come back till after week 12, but I'm just putting it out there just so you guys have the information. Asparagus. Asparagus is another one that keeps coming in. Vitamin A, vitamin B, like all the vitamins, you know, your romaine lettuce and your asparagus seem to continually show up. Very good for your kidneys. So load up on your asparagus. It may make your pee stink, but it is good for your body. Spinach, chicken, turkey, salmon, seafood, shellfish, liver, egg yolks. So if you're a vegetarian, you might have to supplement, because that's where you're going to get from a lot of your vitamin Bs is from your animal proteins. Avocados, good source. Legumes, like split peas. Also, just a side note, strict vegetarians, heavy drinkers, smokers, pregnant and breastfeeding women, and the elderly might require a little bit more of the B supplements, especially B12. Deficiency can cause fatigue or depression. So we want to make sure we are getting enough of those things. So every time you're eating your eggs or your avocado or your salmon, just remember, these are good for your disposition, good for your hair, skin, and nails, good for all your nervous system and your brains. Think of that every time you're eating that sort of stuff. All right. Next up, we've got vitamin C. It's a natural cure for healthy skin. A lot of my clients tell me by the end of this program, they see a difference in their skin. They see a difference. Their wrinkles are not as deep anymore, which I'll go into in a second. But vitamin C is absolutely fabulous for the skin. You can't make collagen in the body without vitamin C. So you do need vitamin C. Obviously, it boosts your immune system. It protects against the effects of stress. Your vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, so your body doesn't store it. So you take in a vitamin C. Vitamin B is also water-soluble. So those two vitamins, you take them in, and your body will use what it needs, and it pees out the rest. It really doesn't store. It does store a little bit, vitamin C, a little teeny tiny bit in the adrenals. But when we're stressed out, guess what? The adrenals get tapped, and then we lose whatever's teeny tiny bit is absorbed. So managing your stress can also help with. Okay. Can help with blood flow and circulation. Also, vitamin C can help you absorb iron better. So if you're low in iron, if you're low in energy, if you've been told you're anemic, you want to make sure you're pairing if you're taking an iron supplement or your iron-rich foods, take them with a vitamin C. It will also help you absorb it a whole lot better. It can help with blood flow and circulation. It helps lower the risk of heart disease and stroke. Again, this is all anti-aging stuff. Helps reduce arthritis symptoms. And again, vitamin C is another antioxidant. It helps put that shoe on the other side of that barrel so it's not coming around and causing all that damage. So what do we got that's high in vitamin C? Bell peppers, basically all peppers. You know, they could be the spicy jalapenos or other peppers, or just the mellow sweet peppers, bell peppers. Guavas, citrus fruit, obviously. Dark green leafy vegetables like kale. Romaine showed up again. Cabbage, broccoli, kiwi. Broccoli is a great source of vitamin C. Strawberries are fabulous vitamin C. Tomatoes, same thing. Peas, papaya, green chilies, and jalapeno peppers, as I mentioned. So every time you're adding these to a salad or adding these to a recipe, just imagine you're improving your skin every time that you do it. All right, vitamin D. This one, believe it or not, vitamin D is actually considered a hormone. And I didn't learn that until I owned my vitamin store. And the previous owner told me that. And I'm like, why would you even say that? That's weird. But I guess that's true because it keeps coming up when I learn or read different things about it. But its main function is to regulate the absorption of calcium and phosphorus into the bones and aid in the cell-to-cell communication throughout the body. It also helps maintain a healthy body weight and cognitive function. It's also really good for the immune system. Man, when COVID started coming around, that was one of the things I upped. I really loaded up on my vitamin D, my vitamin C, and my zinc, because those are all fabulous for the immune system. Not a lot of foods come in high with vitamin D, so that one's a little more of a challenge. But mushroom comes in, oysters, fish, eggs. So we're eating eggs. That's pretty common. You want to please get pasture-raised eggs because I think it's primarily in the egg yolks of the part that's going to be higher in the vitamin D. And if you're getting pasture-raised eggs, it's a healthier yolk. It's going to have the stuff that's good for your brain, and it's just going to be better for you all around. Fortified dairy products, and that's so that you can absorb the calcium. So like, you know, you always see milk with fortified vitamin D. Again, for my new people, we're not having dairy for the first 12 weeks. I just want you to have the information. But your main source of vitamin D is really get out there and get some sunshine. And one of the things that I recommend when we're talking about just general lifestyle, if you can get 10 or 15 minutes of sunshine when the sun comes up in the morning, it can help regulate your circadian rhythm, which is why you want to take your vitamin D and supplements in the morning. If you're having any struggles with sleep, take all of your vitamin D in the morning and skip it at night. Because if you get your vitamin D in the morning, or you get your little sunshine, and you can use that for, you know, go out there and read or journal or have your prayer time or whatever you do for your quiet time. But get 10 or 15 minutes of sun exposure, and you're going to get a good source of vitamin D. But that also helps regulate your sleep. So just a lot of reasons to do that. All right, so vitamin E benefits. Vitamin E is another one of those antioxidants. Again, putting the shoe on the other side of that barrel in the spin cycle can help reduce cholesterol, skin protection. It's an anti-inflammatory. It boosts your immune system, and it helps regulate your hormones. So we want to make sure we're getting enough vitamin E. We've got someone in chat. Okay, vitamins A, D, E, and K are all fat-soluble vitamins, so take either during or after a meal, most absorption, and get the most absorption from them and the bang for your buck. Yes, you do need to eat a fat with fat-soluble vitamins. Thank you for pointing that out. Again, fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K. But we do need to eat a fat with them. So if you're having a salad with purple cabbage and red bell peppers and dark green leafies and yellow vegetables and all this stuff, but we don't put any olive oil on it or any avocado in it, you're not going to be able to absorb those vitamins as efficiently as you would if you take them with a healthy fat. So putting olive oil or good, healthy, approved salad dressing is what we recommend. It's going to help you absorb these vitamins most efficiently. So thank you again for that. I think that was it. Okay. So foods high in vitamin E, olive oil, as I mentioned, broccoli, trout. Be careful on your trout, guys. Most trout in the grocery stores is farm raised. We want to get wild caught. Trout is very, very nutritious, but we don't want to get farm raised. Shrimp, avocado, sunflower seeds, nuts, especially almonds. Cooked spinach is a little higher in the vitamin E. Bell pepper, where am I? Bell peppers, berries, apricots. Here we go again. Asparagus showed up again. And quinoa. So again, these things are going to help with your skin, anti-inflammatory, regulate hormones, reduce cholesterol, powerful antioxidants. So load up on your asparagus and all of these other goodies.
There's one other thing, Tammy, I don't know if any of these ladies on here experience this, but if you get any like small little masses in your breast, I'm not talking about cancer, I'm just talking like fibroids in there, vitamin E actually can help to break them up. So if you have fibrous breast disorder, vitamin E is really helpful at actually helping to break those little bonds up. I
Would
had
you
it,
say
so
consuming it or putting like a vitamin E oil?
I always recommend, you got to eat. So I always recommend trying to eat the things that have vitamin E. But if you're not getting enough, maybe you live in an area that you're not getting enough of these particular things, then no, not the liquid. The liquid won't work because you've got to penetrate deep down, and only a lotion or the oils only go down about 3 layers. These are deep. Fibrous breast disease is actually all kinds of masses underneath, and it's deeper than that. So you have to take a supplement, usually about 400 units, once a day up to every 3 days, just depends on, how low you are, how much you're eating. But
Good to know. Thank you for that. That's
not good if you're going to get surgery, because it can cause problems.
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
So vitamin E is one of the supplements. If you take it on a regular basis and you're getting surgery, it's one of the things you got to make sure you tell your doctor, because they forget about vitamins, and it can cause bleeding. So you don't want to bleed after a surgery. So it's one of the ones that I would remove and put on hold temporarily until you recover through your surgery. But vitamin E is a good one. It's good for scarring, sort of. I mean, newer scars, fresh scars is the vitamin E, but if you've got fibroid breast disorder, it works pretty good to break up those masses.
Good info. Thank you so much. All right, so now we're moving on to skin. Here we go. Causes, some causes. Sun, obviously too much sun is helpful if sun is good for us, but obviously too much, especially if you're fair-skinned. Smoking, sugar is horrible for the skin. Alcohol, because it's very dehydrating, among other things. Processed foods, stress, and toxins. All of those things can cause wrinkles. Preventative foods, healthy fats. Again, they're going to nourish the skin, healthy proteins, and foods high in antioxidants, like I mentioned. Non-food options would be making sure you're going to have some sunscreen on if you're going to be in the sun for more than 10-15 minutes. Hyaluronic acid is a water-loving molecule that draws the water. So if you were to put some hyaluronic acid on your skin, you could take it as a supplement too, but it's going to draw the water to the area, so it's going to kind of plump it up a bit. Vitamin C, vitamin A, as mentioned, and also exercise. When we exercise, we're detoxifying, and we're sweating all those those toxins. So we're releasing all that stuff. All those toxins are what gets in there and ages us. So I wanted to kind of go a little deeper into sugars and ages. And ages are advanced glycation end products. And it's when proteins meet carbohydrates and they blend and create these ages. So basically, if you're having a steak and a baked potato, you're creating the ages. It creates oxidative stress, free radicals, cell damage. It helps, creates the dark spots on the skin, increases inflammation. Let's see. It can increase Alzheimer, can slow the healing of cuts, scrapes, and can increase obesity. There is such a thing as sugar face, and there was a description where the jowls hang down a little bit more. It causes a little bit more sagging at the neck and the chin. So sugar, every time we eat sugar, we are creating problems for the aging of the face, not some in the inside. By the way, sugar is one of the leading causes of liver disease as well. So keeping away from sugar just accelerates all of the aging process, makes it go a lot faster. Let's see. All right. Most common related, age-related vision impairments, macular degenerations, cataract, diabetic retinopathy, and glaucoma. And that glaucoma can be hereditary, but we want to do things that keep our eyes healthy. So foods high in vitamin A, we just went over that. So your dark green leafies, fish high in omega-3s, and wearing protective eye gear. That's another thing that we can do. Supplements that you can take is astaxanthin and lutein. Now, astaxanthin is what gives salmon its orange flavor if it's not a salmon that has color added. Because if it's color added, it's not astaxanthin, it's just color. It's just another food dye. So that's why it's really important that we get wild caught salmon versus farm raised. If it's farm raised, it's not eating the orange or the red moss that turns them that color. So they have to make them look like salmon. So they have to put that dye right on them. Lutein is another good eye. And of course, vitamin A, we already talked about that as well. All right, liver, gut, and brain health. So liver, healthy liver, sulfur-rich foods like garlic, where's my list? Garlic, onions, lentils, seafood, chicken, eggs, cruciferous vegetables, which is kale, broccoli, cauliflower, arugula, Brussels sprouts. All of those things can produce glutathione in the body, which is your liver's antioxidant, which is your liver's detoxifier. Curcumin also boosts glutathione in the body. Curcumin is what we get from turmeric, but the curcumin is the part of the turmeric that has the anti-inflammatory response. The curcumin is the part that helps produce the glutathione in the body. So that's really, really important for the liver.
Tammy, can you get that as a supplement also, the curcumin?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of different brands and there's a lot of different kinds.
You have one that you particularly like?
I used to sell one in my store. The brand was Terry Naturally, and those things were not cheap, but I had customers who came back every month and swore by it. Their joints were so much better. It reduces the inflammation. And because of the high quality ingredients in that particular brand, it's Terry, Terry Naturally. And it had the essential oil of the curcumin, so it made it more absorbable. He didn't put the pepperine in it because when you do that, it also makes your body absorb other things more. So if you do that, if you're taking other medications, you're going to absorb those other medications more, which makes them stronger. So that's why I kind of like that one. The essential oil of the curcumin would make the other things more absorbable, just the curcumin. And it's just like the turmeric. So if you took a turmeric root, like in this picture, this orange stuff, and throw a little piece in your blender with your shake, and you can do that every day, oh my gosh. I did a whole seminar. I met Terry Naturally at a seminar. They, as a vitamin store owner, I got invited. They put us up in Vegas. It was great. But for 3 days, I got to learn about there's these different products. And I had no idea what a superfood curcumin really is. It is good for the brain. The countries that primarily cook with turmeric, they've had the least amount of cancers, the least amount of Alzheimer's or dementia. And they've just all did so much better on a lot of levels. So I'm a super big fan of that. Okay, so healthy gut. We've got sauerkraut, other fermented foods like kimchi, apple cider vinegar. Those are all really good for the gut. High fiber diets. Fiber is the food for the good bacteria in the gut. So when we're eating all these different beautiful vegetables, broccoli and cauliflower, all these cruciferous, but your romaine lettuce and your asparagus and all of these that's where your fiber comes from, is your vegetables and your fruits too. But that's how you're feeding the good bacteria in the gut. And also probiotics. If you've taken any antibiotics or, just things that you've had in your life, alcohol is not good. Sugar substitutes like aspartame and sucralose, those are bad for the good bacteria in the gut. So you might need to take probiotics as well. So those are ways to have a healthy gut, but high fiber diet, including lots of good vegetables. We can see there's more reasons. It's for our skin, it's for our heart, it's for our brain, and it's also for our gut as well. Brain health, again, turmeric shows up at the top of that list. Omega-3 fish oils like your salmons and your tuna and sardines, I believe. Olive oil is great, and lion's mane, that you can usually get as a supplement. There's lots of coffees or coffee substitutes that will have things like lion's mane and turkey tail and the superfood mushrooms. So I'm a really big fan of those. And then sugar. 90 million Americans have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's a lot of people. And it's number one cause of it is the sugar. The number one cause of it is sugar. High fructose corn syrup stores in your liver as triglycerides. So that's bad. It causes leaky gut syndrome. And high fructose corn syrup is made from corn, and that's bad. It affects the autoimmune system. When you have leaky gut, it's like your gut has openings in it, and then the food can get out and leak into the body, and then it wreaks havoc. And it causes other autoimmune diseases like fibromyalgia and Hashimoto's and arthritis and other things. And this is what makes it harder for us to lose weight. So every time you eat some actual sugar, I want you to remind yourself that it's going to store in your liver and can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and other liver complications and other complications. I could do I do a whole week talk about how the damages of sugars in the body, but it affects your eyesight, it affects your heart, it affects your circulation, it affects your kidneys. It affects your insulin levels. So, and obviously now we learned today how it affects the skin with the ages. So it's just so important to reduce your sugars the best you possibly can. Oops. All right. All right. So tips from
Amy, I have a quick question. You guys talked about, since you were talking about leaky gut, you guys had brought up something about getting beef gelatin powder. I remember
Oh,
you guys talking about this to try to heal the gut because it does a sealing effect. But I didn't
yes,
get the whole, I came in
gelatin.
kind of on the end of that conversation, so I missed it.
Gelatin. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gelatin is really good for the gut, for helping cure the leaky gut. Glutamine and gelatin is, in my knowledge, are probably really good things to be taking. And so when you have like that's what I'm having this week because I had a leak in my kitchen this week. So I didn't do my normal meal prep that I normally do. So I got one of those chickens that are pre-made at the grocery store. So I put it in the fridge and I've been noshing on that this week. That's been my protein source. But at the bottom of the bag, you'll see that gelatin from the chicken or meat or even fish. Do not throw that away. Do not, in fact, scoop it up and eat it. And if I put it in the microwave, to warm up my chicken or whatever, and then it melts in the plate because it will turn to liquid. I pick it up and I drink it. That is so good for the gut. Thank you, thank you. And it looks a little gross. And the idea of a beef or a chicken or a fish gelatin is kind of, when I was a little girl, I used to love the consomme. My mom would put it in the fridge. And I was that weird kid who liked to eat that. I don't know why, but because it was salty, it wasn't sweet at all. But yeah, gelatin is really good. And I also use the beef gelatin powder to make a pudding. And I make it with like an almond milk or a coconut milk. And there's a lot of recipes that you can Google. And so I just add some sweetener and some cocoa powder to make it a chocolate pudding. But the gelatin is what makes it firm, almost like a jello or a pudding. So you can eat your thing with the spoon. But you're doing your gut a big, big, big favor by doing that. Thank you so much. I really forgot to bring that up. There's a lot of things we can do for our health. So I can't put them all on these slides, but that was a big and important one. So thank you so much for that. All right. So tips from the expert. You guys want to know which expert I interviewed for this, this section? That would be my 86-year-old mother. But I gotta say, this woman, she goes to at least one dance class a week, if not more. She has a personal trainer and she goes to Pilates class and she's very active in her church. In fact, I invited her to today's call to see if she could chime in on some of this. And she hasn't even responded back because she's just busy. She's got her wits about her. So I thought, who better to ask than someone like her. So one of the things she said, and believe it or not, using her apps or technology. But the reason she said that was because, and I get it now, because I have a smartwatch now, but it tracks my steps and it tracks my exercise and stuff. But she says now, like when when she has to go take her trash out from her kitchen, to the garage to where her trash cans are, she looks forward to it because now she's going to get credit for all those extra steps. So it really helps her get excited about getting up and moving more. And she like when we went to our family reunion in November, I'm sorry, in January, we went to Malibu, California, and we went for walks around the neighborhood. And she was like so sad, like it put her on break. She was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get credit for my steps. But it just made her so happy to know that she was being able to keep track. So these are ways that help you see where you're maybe falling short or showing, hey, maybe I'm stepping it up. I did 10,000 steps this week or today, and last week I was only doing 8,000. So it's a way to track yourself. You can't manage anything you're not tracking. But if you can see progression, then you can see progression, and that's kind of exciting. So that was one of the things that she said. I will have to say, my mother probably is the most optimistic person I've ever met. Everybody likes her. Just ask her. And I mean that in a loving way. She truly believes, and she really does love everybody. There's a couple of people she doesn't like, but but for the most part, she just sees the best in everybody. And she truly believes that everybody likes her. And so she'll chime in on conversations. And at the end of every day, this is what she does. At the end of every day, even when we're on vacation, on family reunion, we're just visiting, she goes into her room and she writes in her gratitude journal. So it's training her brain. This is probably why she's so optimistic. It trains her brain to look for and see more ways to be grateful. And the more grateful we are, the happier we are. The more things we see that we could be grateful for. So having a positive attitude is a great way to look at life. Stock or bone broth. And then I would just add gelatin to that just because of what I just said. But as a kid growing up, if she would chop off like the carrot tops or the beets, the beets greens and all that stuff, the stuff that we would normally throw away, she would put that in a pan and simmer that for a few hours and make stock with it. And then instead of adding water to a recipe, she would just add stock to add all those extra minerals and vitamins into that recipe and making it healthy. And I grew up as a pretty healthy kid, so it must have done something right. But when I do this slide again, I'm going to add gelatin to that little list. She said exercise is non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable for her. So if you and she gives herself rules, and I would call that a discipline. She does not like to work out in the evening. So if she decides to skip it in the morning, she has to force herself to go in the evening, which she doesn't want to do. So it kind of incentivizes her, just get it done, get it over with, get her exercise in, and just get it done so that she doesn't have to do it later in the day when she's tired. I mean, she's 86, but this girl, she can do a lot more than a lot of 50-year-olds. It's crazy. Meal planning. I can't stress that enough. If you have it already ready, if you have it easily accessible, if I have a salad already made, it's likely I'm going to eat a salad. If I have a head of that romaine lettuce, and if I have a head of purple cabbage, and if I have a whole tomato, and if I have a whole unpeeled and unsliced cucumber, and I have whole carrots, and I've only got 20 minutes, am I going to go in there and make a salad? Probably not. I'll probably open up a bag of something that I probably shouldn't have. So meal planning and meal prepping, super, super, super important. Make it easy. Last week we talked about goals and habits. And if you make the good new habits easy, the easier you make the new habits, the more likely you are to do them. So if you have the food already ready, and now you've just made it easier to make the right choice. I threw this one in there, whole body vibration plate. This is really, really, really good for detoxifying the body, particularly your lymphatic system, but it also burns extra calories. It also can build bone density. This is good for aging because as we get past 40, the body starts to steal from those bones and we start to lose that bone density. So whole body vibration plate, which you can have at your home. They have commercial ones. You can sometimes see them at the gym, but if you can get one for home, that's even better. But it also fires more muscle fibers. So if you're on there doing squats or lunges or push-ups, you're going to fire a lot more muscle fibers and burn a few extra calories while you're at it. And then also never stop learning. I Google everything. And then I Google it again to see what other people are saying. Because keep in mind, everything in the internet, a human being wrote it. Sometimes humans are wrong. So just keep Googling it and check different articles. When you start to see the patterns, then you know it's probably more correct. There's more study on it. So never, ever, ever stop learning and being open to new ideas. You guys signed up for this program. We're having you do things in a little different way. If you're in resistance, well, that's not what I've done before. Well, of course not. This is a new program. We're doing something different. So being open to new ideas and open to new things, it's going to make this less stressful. All right. So this, when I built these PowerPoints, this slide was already here, and I thought, why would I even take that off? So the way to get started, is to quit talking and begin doing. Walt Disney. All right, so the summary, setting your intentions to eat and live as healthy as you can, eating dark green leafies, obviously your romaines and your asparaguses, your cruciferous vegetables, which is your broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels, cabbage, arugula, all that good stuff. Healthy fats, super good for the brain and the heart. Keeping those, we need those, we kind of need those, and those two deteriorate as we age if we don't feed them healthy fats and healthy proteins also for the heart and the brain, including exercise for your heart and for your brain, because when we exercise, it also detoxifies the body. It also helps us sleep better. This will help us maintain a healthier life. So does anybody have any questions or comments?
Has anyone tried, I saw something on the internet the other day where they were just cutting sweet potatoes and putting them in the toaster. So they were making avocado toast out of sweet potatoes as the base instead of using a piece of bread. And I was like, I don't know how the toaster is going to feel about that. They're kind of a tough vegetable to try to cut into, but I don't know if anybody had any experience.
I made avocado toast the last time I did a kitchen hacks topic for the weekly group calls. And I remember seeing that, but I don't remember if I actually put it in the toaster or not, because I pre-made it. But then if I wanted it, like a bunch of them, and then if I wanted it warmed, I don't remember if I did that or not.
I've actually done it. Could I chirp in here?
Absolutely.
So you bake it just like you do a baked potato or how you would do it. And then I cut it in 3 pieces and wrapped it and put it in my fridge. And then when I was ready to make my avocado toast, I just put it on my skillet with either the coconut oil or butter, whatever you're using, or nothing. And then you heat it up and then you just squish your avocado on it. And I put a little hot sauce and it was wonderful. Or your egg, and it was fantastic. It's really good.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds good. I can picture
It was amazing.
like avocado, some arugula, and a sliced tomato with maybe some garlic or something. That would be so good. Oh, Candy said thank you. Yes, that was really good. I hadn't thought about hot sauce, but I do put coconut oil when I do make my yams. So I think that's just a delicious combination. I think it just really works. So. All right, any other thoughts or questions or comments? It doesn't even have to be on aging or health foods or
I
antioxidants.
want to say, oh, sorry, I want to say thank you to Candy for all her information. That was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome, you guys. I try not to chime in too much because this is Tammy's area. I'm just trying to assist on some of the drug stuff that I get asked questions a lot on all day long. So
I appreciate that. Uh-oh, I don't know how to stop the share. Nope. Oh,
so you're welcome. It does make me very happy to give information, hence the reason I went into the job that I did. I did want to be a veterinarian and not a pharmacist, but my dad did pay for pharmacy school, so that's where I went. But to this day, I use kind of both things because I love my animals, and so I've been trying to do some of the nutrition for them. I don't know if you guys have animals, but like the gelatin has been, my dog itches all the time, so I'm trying to fix her gut by using some of the gelatin in with her food, and I hand make their food, not all of it because it's hard to get all the nutrients in, but They get half their food is made, and then the other half is unfortunately from the dog food makers, which I'm trying to get away from that.
That's cool. That's great. Why didn't you what was the reason you didn't go veterinarian?
After I spent 6 years in pharmacy school, I'd been eating ramen noodles because I was so poor. And so I didn't really want to spend another 4 years in basically medical school and then have to do internship and residency. So I was really tired of being poor, to be quite honest.
Well, I can
Yeah.
promise you probably never eat ramen noodles again. A week or so ago, I found a video that showed microscopic. It showed somebody like looking under the microscope, like they peel off the lid and they put it on the microscope, and it showed little teeny tiny critters walking around in it.
I actually saw that.
Yeah, I will. It's like never, nope, I'm good. Never again. No, that's it. You know, and we put boiling water in there, but just the idea of it.
Hey,
No,
Tammy, we're creating a new microbiome for you. Those critters are, I'm just kidding. No, it's gross. I saw that as well. There's a lot of bugs that you're eating that you don't even know that you're eating in certain foods.
yeah, when we
I
were
have a
doing, well, I forget the topic, but like what's in your food, the label reading, I guess it was. And the color they use, there's a bug, I can't remember the name of it. There's a little teeny tiny red bug that they use for, but there was a name for it. You wouldn't know it. It's just, you're thinking it's a chemical that's going to turn this product red. But the answer was that it's a little red bug. But it actually might even be more nutritious than these red dye number 6 and the red dye number whatever that just recently got banned. So
I heard,
it
I
might
heard
even
maybe
be more nutritious than the chemical dyes, but either way.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Charlotte. You guys are talking about the gels and through the beef gels or the broth. Is it, you mentioned the fish and chicken, also just that, the gelatin from them as well? Or is it just the powder from the beef?
No, like the gelatin, like right now, like right before this call, I warmed up some chicken and it had a lot of the gelatin on there, but I made sure it went on my plate and I warmed it up. And as soon as it melted, I drank that juice because I want that in my gut. So it's chicken gelatin in this case, but beef gelatin, if you choose to bring beef back, but even beef gelatin now would be okay. It's not like you're eating a piece of beef. But if you make a piece of salmon, a big piece, if that's what you did for your meal prep so that you have salmon throughout the rest of the week, you're going to see some of that salmon gelatin. Do not throw it away. And Candy's got it. Mine came in a bag, but just the beef plain, just get plain beef gelatin or whatever gelatin. And it's good for your skin and your hair and your nails. So it's going to
This
be,
is just beef gelatin powder dietary supplement. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised. So I
Okay.
got off Amazon. It's Zen Principle. It's just a carton of.
Okay. So not to be confused with that gelatin that we used to use when we made finger jello for our kids.
yeah. I imagine it's
What do you do with it?
coming from well, you can make your own jello with it. I make pudding with it. Or you can and another thing I did with it, oh, this was so good too. I was making my own salad dressing and I was trying to cut the fat from my salad dressing because I wanted to add avocados and walnuts to my salad. So I was trying to cut my calories. So I'm like, well, instead of oil, what can I do to make this salad dressing? And I was putting fresh grapefruit, and then instead of the olive oil, I wanted to put something else. So I just added water and a little bit of vinegar and then some other flavors. And I blend that up and it was super watery, just watery. And I added a teaspoon of gelatin and you blend it all up and you put it in the fridge for like 5-10 minutes and it thickens it. So now you can pour it on a salad like it's like a thick, like almost like a blue cheese dressing that will stick to your salad leaves and your salad parts. And you're getting the benefits of the gelatin and it thickens up the thing. The only way that doesn't work is if the thing is going to be warm, then it turns into a liquid, just like my chicken gelatin did today.
You think you could substitute this maybe for cornstarch? Because cornstarch is basically
kind of a thickener, especially like with gravy and things like this, and this would be a healthier option, maybe. I don't know. It says on here, great for
Yep.
cooking, baking, hair,
Yeah.
nails, bones,
Yeah.
and gummy desserts. So if you want to make your own gummy bears, there you
That's
go.
right. That's right. You can. I mean, once you start going down that rabbit hole, there's probably a million recipes for that.
As
Lisa,
far as the gummy
welcome
bears
in.
go with-
Lisa, welcome in.
sorry.
Started about an hour ago. Just so you know, we're just kind of wrapping up.
Yes. So if you were trying to make gummy bears, I mean, I am not where my 12 weeks hit where I cannot have fruits yet. And so I'm just wondering, like you would have to probably squeeze your own juice and things like this as far as making it
Yeah, I've
coherent program.
I've never done that, so I would have to just find a recipe and see, and I would look at several to see what appealed to me better. If I'm trying to make just a candy out of it, or if it just depends on what I wanted to do with it. But I'm sure a lot of different.
As soon as I hit my 12 weeks, I'll let you know. I am a chemist by nature, and so I love to mix stuff, and Candy loves candy, but Candy's not eating candy anymore. So Candy's going to figure out a way to make something that I can still have. It's a little biteful when we go to the theater. You know, everybody else is buying candy and stuff. I don't buy that. I usually take celery and carrots, and so I'm making too much noise in the movie theater. So I'm going to try to figure out something that might be at least somewhat healthy, but still delicious. We'll see.
Yeah, that might be fun to play with. And I play all the time in the kitchen, and some things work and some things don't. So if something doesn't taste good and you tried it, don't be discouraged. Just like I forget it's Thomas Edison, it was 1,000 tries or 10,000 tries,
Yes.
but he didn't look at it as failure. He looked at it as one more way how not to create a light bulb. I forget if it was 1,000 or 10,000, but it was, most of us would have given up. So don't give up. Just keep trying. It's just one more way not to make a gummy bear if it doesn't turn out very good.
So in other words, if I just heard Candy say she just decided she's going to make celery and carrot gummy bears.
God, I hope not. Celery is yucky. I eat it and it's better when it's fresher because it's sweeter. But no, I don't think there's going to be a celery gummy bear coming out of my product line. Sorry.
That doesn't even sound good at all. But hey, you never know.
You know what, Tammy, I was just thinking we could probably turn our detox liquid into gummy bears.
Say that again. Oh, the detox.
Can we take our detox liquid, our lemon drink? Probably can't because we shouldn't do the gelatin.
You totally could. And you could just make it with a Lakanto maple syrup instead of the regular maple syrup. That way it's sugar-free if you're having it as a snack outside of detox days. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, guys, I've got to get to step in here. So I thank you so much for the participation, your questions, your comments, just joining here. I really, really love that because every time you guys ask a question or share, it helps the direction of the conversation go in the direction you guys want it to go. So I have my PowerPoint, so it kind of keeps me on point so I can remember what to say, all of that. And plus it's visuals for you guys. But I love your input and your questions. So thank you all for that. And with that, I will say have a great afternoon and bye for now.